Mike Moore Media.
In our studios, Rockingham County Attorney Seth Woodall, and now it's official since we did that podcast last month. You are now a candidate. You've been campaigning, but you're now an official candidate for Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina, so congratulations.
Thanks, Mike. We announced on Thursday officially. My wife and I and our campaign manager, Matt, went down to Raleigh and announced around mid-morning on Thursday morning.
Let's talk about that trip to Raleigh and making that official filing there. That's got to be exciting to be at that point.
It is. You know, that's when it all kind of gets real, so they say. So we went down mid-morning. We met at the fairgrounds, which is where you actually announced this year, and went in and filled the paperwork out, paid the filing fee, and took pictures and left there a real candidate.
Okay. Well, wishing you all the best on the campaign trail, and you are out on the campaign trail doing a lot of things, so bring us up to date on some things.
We are. So we just ended the congressional convention season for North Carolina. There's 14 congressional districts in North Carolina, and they hold conventions this time of year, and basically they have delegates that are nominated to kind of create a GOP platform for the congressional groups. And so at those conventions, you're allowed to speak. You're given allotted time slots. Different districts give you different time slots based upon the number of individuals there. So we hit a lot of those conventions, and I spoke, had great reception. I think we did very well and met a lot of really good people, and have been able to follow up with a lot of those individuals to go to their specific groups and talk to them about their interests. So the congressional convention season was a real hit for our campaign.
Oh, that's great. And I know you have had several lieutenant governors forums, and more of those to come, apparently.
Yeah, so there are. There was one in Guilford County where I think 6 of the lieutenant governor candidates showed up, and it was basically a debate-type forum where questions were posed by the audience and given time to answer those questions. We excelled there, met a lot of good people again. So those forums, we actually do really well in the forums and the speaking engagements. There's another Lieutenant Governor's Forum coming up, I believe, in, Brunswick County on February the 17th. So we'll be there. There's a candidate forum in Asheville on February the 8th, and it's open to statewide candidates, not specifically lieutenant governors, but we'll be there. But in Brunswick County on February 17th is the next lieutenant governor's forum, where the lieutenant governor candidates will have an opportunity to come in and basically showcase who they are, what issues they stand for, and answer questions in a debate type fashion.
Yeah. You've been speaking at a lot of different places too. Kind of give us an idea of some of those.
Yeah, wow, we've been all over, Mike. I can't begin to tell you all of the groups, but there's been several Republican women's groups that have invited us to come and speak. Men's GOP groups, county GOP groups, small groups. You know, we've been all over from the mountains to the coast talking, and we plan to keep grinding at it and try to hit our voter base and try to let our name be known.
What is your voter base?
Well, you know, right now we're heading into the primary season. March the 5th will be the primary, and so we're looking to get all the Republican voters out and vote for us in the primary. So right now, you know, our focus is getting the Republican primary voters out on March 5th to vote for us.
There are a number of candidates in this race.
There are. I think it ended up being myself and 10 others. So it is a full field, to say the least.
Yeah. As you're out there, I know we've talked about this before, but it's always a good idea for some that may be listening for the first time, just introducing Seth Woodall to them. What are the top, maybe the top 3 or 4 or 5 topics that you're hearing people that they're interested in, that you're wanting to address as lieutenant governor?
So I'll tell you kind of the top 5 that we're looking to address. One is law and order and standing behind law enforcement and first responders. 2 is the Second Amendment and standing behind gun rights. 3 is the economy and trying to ensure that legislation is passed to make business more appealing for businesses in North Carolina and to help the families in North Carolina from a financial standpoint. 4 is the election integrity, and 5 is education. So those are kind of the 5 key points that we're looking at. I think the poll numbers in North Carolina right now, the top 3 issues are going to be the economy and inflation, and that is a huge concern for businesses and individuals alike. Then crime and law enforcement, and then border. So those are kind of the 3 top issues that we're hearing most about as we cross the state.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You mentioned a moment ago talking about supporters and speaking. If someone is listening, and I know you've got a full calendar, Matt here in the studio with us, your campaign manager, but a lot going on your calendar. But if someone would like to contact you, what's the best way to do that, to get you to speak to a group perhaps?
We would love to speak to any group, any part of the state. It doesn't matter if it's a small group, a large group. You know, we're really politicking for the people of this state, and so it doesn't matter if it's a small group. They can contact my campaign manager, Matt Warman, and probably the best email for that is going to be Matt at Woodall, WOODALL hyphen, like a minus sign, law.com.
Okay. All right. So we can get to Matt with that. Maybe we'll give maybe a phone number or something here at the end too, if you want to. But your social media, you're out there on social media in a lot of different levels too, aren't you?
We are. So we've got a Twitter account that we're active on. We have Instagram and Facebook, and so we're trying to be active in social media and doing the best we can to reach our voters.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
If any of these groups want to contact Matt concerning anything, really, especially if they want us to come speak to them, his telephone number is 404-384-6544.
Okay. We'll give that again here before we finish up. Okay. Some other things that you wanted to mention while we've already covered some of the recent things you've done and things coming up. Well, what else should we talk about today, Seth?
Well, you know, we've got the Western Wake County candidate roundup will be on January the 22nd. I mentioned the Asheville candidate forum will be February the 8th. Mm-hmm. Brunswick County Lieutenant Governor forum is February the 17th. McDowell County Republican GOP group has us speaking on the 28th of this month, December the 28th. There's a Moore County GOP meeting that we're going to speak at on January the 3rd. Iredell County's having a Patriots men's group that we're going to speak at on January the 11th. Iredell County's also having a GOP meeting on January the 13th. And then we're going to be back in Stokes County on January the 20th for a Stokes County GOP meeting. We were in Stokes County at their GOP Christmas party with Mark Robinson this past weekend on Saturday and had a great turnout there.
I know you. I think you mentioned to us early on about the connection there with Mark Robinson and maybe some of his marketing people, perhaps, or some of his strategists, and that's still in place. Yeah,
we're working closely with some of the same consultants. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Very good. Now, as you're out there on the campaign trail, and you're how do you get it all covered? Because there's so many places to be in North Carolina. You got to go.
It's tough. You know, North Carolina's a big state. It's a statewide race, and we're just having to get out there and put the miles on the truck and get to these groups. We try to look at a calendar and try to geographically determine, you know, the best travel routes to get, because some of these days we have multiple events. This past Saturday we had an event in Greensboro Saturday morning, and then had Stokes County that evening. So, you know, there's days that we're hitting 2 or 3 events each day. Mm-hmm. We're holding some of our personal events. We're holding. We started a teachers forum this month, and you know, just trying to get teachers and educators to come out and speak to us here locally. And it's open to anybody across the state, but you know, logistically, it's mostly local teachers and educators. So we're going to continue to do that on a regular basis and just try to have an open dialogue about education and how we need to change with the times to ensure that our kids are learning the best way that they can.
And, of course, education being one of your chief concerns for sure.
It is. You know, I've said from day one that education is a huge concern for me, and that, you know, the lieutenant governor's position has a real primary spotlight on education. I mean, you sit on the board of education for the state, you sit on the board for community colleges within the state, And so that's one of my driving and motivational factors is that, I want to see change in North Carolina within the education system, because I truly believe that the foundation of our country starts when these kids are in school. And so they're impressionable young individuals, and we need to make sure that they're learning the right things. And I'm not saying that we need no agendas in school. Our children need to go there to learn. I read a quote from Theodore Roosevelt that says, when you teach in mind and not morality, you teach menaces to society. And so we just need to teach children to learn and to have integrity. That's what we need. No agendas.
I want to follow up on what you just said there about the position of Lieutenant Governor in North Carolina, because it really, maybe there's some situations where it's maybe a name in a political situation, but Lieutenant Governor really has an influence in a lot of areas. A lot
of areas, and I think it's been underserved up until the last administration. Mark Robinson has really spotlighted what can be done within the Lieutenant Governor's office. So by statute, there's 15 different obligations of the Lieutenant Governor. A lot of that focuses directly on succession to the governor in the event that the governor is unavailable, or something were to happen tragically to the governor, you would step into that position. But a lot of it has to do with education, and so that's kind of the driving force behind this.
Mm-hmm. I had no idea. 15. You say it again. 15.
There's 15 statutory responsibilities of the Lieutenant Governor.
Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, before our time gets away, anything else we need to mention?
No, we haven't. You can stay tuned and look on our social media, and we'll post about this. But we're going to have a supporter appreciation breakfast coming up, where we have folks come out and sign up to be volunteers and to pick up signs, maybe get some merch from us, hats, shirts, things of that nature. We're trying to look for people all over the state to help us, A, spread the word about our campaign, B, volunteer to help put out signs, and C, go to the polling places. There's I think 4,000 precincts in North Carolina, and we're looking for individuals all across the state that believe in our campaign to go out and be there when we are when the election polls are open.
That would be important locally and across the state.
All across the state. Like I said, there's over 4,000 polling places and precincts, and, certainly can't cover them all, but we want to try to make sure that we get people at those polling places to the best of our ability.
Sure. Okay, I remind everyone you can go to SethWoodall.com, check out that website, and let's give Matt's phone number again, too.
So Matt Warman, his telephone number is 404-384-6544.
Matt, good to have you in the studio here today, too. Thank you, Seth. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Again, that's Seth Woodall. Well, we've got another minute or two. Before we finish, your law practice still up and running.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're I would like to say we're probably outworking every politician in the state. We're still working full time as attorneys. We have other attorneys in both offices, in the Eden office and the Madison office, picking up the slack. They're doing an excellent job. So it's full steam ahead for the law practices. I don't want anybody to feel like we're not in that business anymore, because that's a very crucial part of my life, is trying to take care of the community through their legal needs, and we're going to continue to do that.
Sure. I wanted to mention, too, one of our favorite places here in Rockingham County, and that is the Farmhouse. You've had a number of holiday events there recently.
Yeah, so the Farmhouse is one of the venues that we own. And so right now during the holiday season, there's been a lot of Christmas parties, a lot of holiday celebrations, and it's staying busy. Christy, our manager over at the Farmhouse, has done a good job of keeping it booked, and so we're looking to continue to work hard to make sure that it's available there for the citizens of this community and other areas. So, we do weddings, receptions, parties, birthday parties, baby showers. Basically, any type of celebration someone was looking to do, we are trying to accommodate.
Seth, always good to have an update from you about what's going on with the campaign. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Mike.
Okay. Seth Woodall in our studios today, our monthly podcast. Again, go to SethWoodall.com. That's the website, his Lieutenant Governor website. And then on Facebook, Seth Woodall for NC Lieutenant Governor. This program paid for by the committee to elect Seth Woodall, candidate for Lieutenant Governor.